on top of mind. San Francisco 49ers owner, and if you've been under a rock the last 24 hours, Jed York over the weekend in Ohio, where he was raised and born, and I guess he still has a home there, was arrested on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. The charges got, plead down. He's got 2 misdemeanor charges and had a $5,000 bail, pled no contest. That seems to be the end of the legality. Now we wait the fallout, and new details emerged within the last 24 hours that we didn't get a chance to discuss. I think you did mention that this was at a Ohio mobile home community where this suspicion of engaging in prostitution occurred. Apparently the money, or the alleged money that was going to be handed out, was $140. We do know that. And we also learned that Jed York and his wife filed for divorce back in May. So those are the new details. We are waiting if the NFL is going to do anything. They're going through their review, their personal conduct policy. There's been a precedent for significant punishment, and I think you referenced this yesterday. The NFL suspended Indianapolis Colts former owner, late owner, Jim Irsay, for 6 games and fined him $500,000 in 2014 after his misdemeanor impaired driving case. So that's literally the only thing to go off. That was 12 years ago. Now, I don't know what suspending an owner for games does, per se. I guess you can't just go to the game. If you're Jed, you're just probably ending. We talked about this. Being out of sight, out of mind, probably the best thing. Maybe don't go to any of these home games for quite some time. Fining him $500,000, does that amount to a slap on the wrist? I don't know what the proper punishment is, and I don't know what's going to be handed down to the team. But where is your head at less than 24 hours since this news came out? Because it did come out on our show around 7:30 yesterday.
Well, that's a loaded question. Where's my head at with all this?
I know. I'm handing you a lot there.
I'm not faulting you. No, I'm not faulting you. It's just like, I listened to so many people talk about Jed yesterday. And I don't want to pin this on anyone in particular. Right? I think my perspective is a very interesting one in contrast to some of the other people that maybe aren't lifelong Niner fans, aren't of my age, and don't have my perspective. And I'm being honest. I'm going to raise my hand. Being a native San Franciscan and a diehard 5th-generation San Franciscan who grew up near Candlestick, I am biased and I am jaded. So I want to make sure that I preface this on the front end. But I think I represent a lot of people.
You just described someone like me, who is not a lifelong 49er fan. I did not grow up in San Francisco. We do have a generational gap between us, although we're both at the ends of the millennials. We can disagree. Yeah. But all the things you just said describes me. So we're going to have different viewpoints on this, obviously. Yeah. So, and that's okay. That's great. So yeah. I want to go back in time. Let's suspend what happened yesterday. Let's just talk about Jed to this fan base. When I was a kid, the Niners were humming in the 80s, okay? All I knew was they were the best or second best or third best or fourth best brand in sports in the 1980s. It's the Lakers, it's the Celtics, it's the Niners. The Yankees were still there was a mystique. The A's had really high profile in the late 80s. I mean, these were the gold standards of sports, right? Eddie DeBartolo was viewed as the swashbuckling, multi-millionaire, we don't even talk about billionaires now. This is multi-millionaire back then. Greatest owner in sports. Cutthroat, will do anything it takes to win. He was the gold standard. Before Steinbrenner was the gold standard. Steinbrenner was at this time, not viewed the way we view Steinbrenner now. No. Right? Jerry Jones wasn't in the equation. Nope. All right? So a lot of the people that view Joe Lacob that way currently, right? Younger people that view Joe Lacob as the man, imagine all the Joe Lacob stuff with none of the negativity that you have regarding Joe and the drafting and getting involved. In a weird way, the owner was mythical. He was part mobster,
You know, he kind of looked like Joe Pesci. Like, I'm being real here. Like,
I don't know. We don't want to, like, cast aspersion if your last name's Italian. But he had an Italian last name, DeBartolo. Him and Joe Montana. They talk about the shared heritage. That was a big deal for Eddie.
And he hired one of the most influential geniuses the sport has ever seen. And then they had some of the most sexy rosters in sports.
Some of the greatest Hall of Fame talent you'll ever see.
So that's the baseline for people my age and older. Is Eddie DeBartolo is the man. All right. When you bring up Jed York to the older Niner crowd, all right. Eddie DeBartolo was trying to build a stadium in San Francisco. I'm going to give you guys a quick history lesson. And in 1997, him and Willie Brown, through some questionable tactics, and I'm just going to leave it at that, found a way to get the city of San Francisco to approve a $100 million deal, to give them $100 million, which at that time, think about what $100 million was in 97.
What was it called? Measure I or something?
Prop FG.
Prop F, yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
And they were going to build this big multi-development, mall, and they're going to redevelop Candlestick. Well, around that same time, Eddie was bribing a Louisiana gambling official. Now, it's kind of ironic now that he got kicked out, bribing a gambling official, a senator.
Now that
everybody's partnered with DraftKings, like the crime 30 years later does not feel as egregious as it did in real time.
Right, we have Steiny doing DraftKings commercials with us. It's great.
So I want you to think about Joe Lacob losing his team in kind of a bizarre way, and then his sister gets to take over.
Yeah.
And then the sister is then going to basically cede control over a 5 or 6 year period to their kid.
Yeah.
Who has no ties to the team.
Well, and even, the husband, quite frankly, I know he's an in-law, right? It's like, who is this guy? That's
Dr. John York is one of the most, if you talk
that's what I'm saying.
One of the most, just to fans. I'm just saying to fans. I don't know him as a man. One of the most hated guys in Niner history.
Well, because in that respect, he is an outsider.
No,
even though he's an in-law, it's like, I don't know this guy. He's not blood with Eddie. Like, what?
Let's call a spade a spade. No, he's viewed as a cheapskate.
Yeah. You told me the story.
So they used to give out these belt buckles for years when they would win the NFC West. And this is the old West. You had the Panthers and the Falcons and the Saints in there. And when he came in, they won the NFC West and they didn't give out the belt buckles. And the players had to pay for it themselves. Oh. There were big time rumors about them putting, vending machines in the locker room to make money off the guys. Now, they kicked the can down the road on the stadium and they didn't have the money to put up front. And by the time 2006 comes around, Gavin Newsom is the mayor of San Francisco. All right. Now, I have my issues with Gavin.
Sure.
It kind of starts with this stadium's debacle. Sure. And it takes 2, 3, 4 to tango. Everyone's at fault here. The Niners themselves, I'm talking about the York family, didn't have the money to pony up. The city was trying to extract the greatest deal of all time, which was so dumb and foolish. And around that time, Jed becomes involved with the team. Now, who's Jed's buddy? It was Parag. And this is why older people like myself, they cringe when they hear Parag's name. Parag's the guy that kicked Bill Walsh out.
Yeah, he goes back even before. He predates Jed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to think about how would people feel if Joe Lacob's son took over right now as the face.
Oh, people would be upset.
I want you to think about that.
Yeah.
All right? Think about that. Now I want you to think about, what if Joe Lacob's sister's kid took over the team?
Oh. Furious.
I mean, I want you to think about that out loud.
Yeah.
Think about the way we view Greg Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Do we think that he's the self-made man?
No. Nepotism.
Right, exactly.
That's the word.
I'm so glad you brought that word up. So when Jed becomes involved in the team, a lot of people, it's like, who is this kid who has done nothing behind the scenes to become the face of the organization? Who is he?
Yeah.
And this is just my interpretation, and I've said this from the jump, and I'm not trying to kick the guy while he's down. I want to remove yesterday's stuff to how I viewed him for years. On his Twitter avatar from day one, he put a photo of him and his Uncle Eddie on his Twitter avatar as a kid. And where was that photo? Not in California. In Cincinnati.
Ohio. Yeah.
In Ohio. Because he never lived out here. I always felt like he had imposter syndrome, pretending to be part of the family, the consigliere of his uncle. And he was always trying to tout his uncle's accomplishments. So I want you to, again, think about this. Let's say 10 years from now, Again, this is a hypothetical. Joe Lacob's sister's kid takes over the team and starts putting photos of him and Uncle Joe on the floor and then talking about, we're trying to win our fifth title.
It comes across as disingenuous, as can be. That's what it comes across. Like to the average fan like you, the diehard, not even average, like a diehard fan, it comes across as, you guys are really trying to sell me on this that hard, huh? Like stop. Like you're not helping your case.
Now, okay, and it's a little different because the Warriors were in Oakland and now they've moved to San Francisco. Right. But let's just say hypothetically, all right, Joe's sister's son was a part of the conglomerate that moved the Warriors out of Oakland, out of San Francisco, and to Santa Clara.
Oh, people would be furious.
Oh my God, furious. They would lose their minds.
Yes.
They would lose their minds. And you have to remember this. The Warriors moved west from Philadelphia. I always say this to people. The San Francisco Giants moved west from New York.
They came here, yeah.
The Oakland A's moved west to Kansas City and then from Philly to Kansas City and then Kansas City to Oakland.
And now going to Vegas.
Right, and now they're going to Vegas. The only team that was born and bred before the Sharks on the West Coast was the 49ers.
Yep.
They were the city's team. At the time when they were on the top of the world, the Giants had never won a title. At the time that they were at the top of the world, the Warriors were a complete dumpster fire. All right? So you're taking one of the glamour franchises in sports and you turned it into a Piggly Wiggly. That's what people thought.
Yeah.
You took a Neiman Marcus brand, a Porsche brand, and you turned it into a Pinto. And then you took it out of its flagship home and moved it 45 miles south, and then said, I mean, at least we stayed in the market. And not only that, again, the team that was known for doing everything at the number one height, meaning the top of the top of the charts, everything was class. We paid first class for everything. We paid the most amount for free agents, everything like that. You got everyone to sign up for season tickets on the backs of Harbaugh.
Yep.
That's what they did. I was one of them. They rode the Harbaugh success.
To the PSLs you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we helped fund that, as well as the Yorks. They get credit for that. But the PSLs were a big deal. And then the second you move south, you couldn't wait to stab him in the back. And then these are his words, not mine.
Oh.
Replacing Tom Sula is just like what the Warriors did, replacing Kerr with Mark Jackson.
Or the
Meaning Tom Sula replacing Harbaugh.
Right. I think you meant replace Mark Jackson with Steve Kerr, but yes, like the audacity to say that when the Warriors had Stephen Curry of all people.
Joe, when I tell you some guys will never get over on a certain audience, I'm almost 45 years old. For guys my age who've been going to Candlestick their entire life, whether you thought the stadium sucked and they needed a new one or not, it does not matter. For a lot of people like me who have been Niner fans for their entire life, Jed is a very complicated individual, even if you try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Joe, early on in his tenure, when he was named CEO in 2008, he was the one who hired Singletary after saying, we're going to do a worldwide search. And they hired the first guy they interviewed, who was literally in the locker room standing next to him in Mike Singletary.
Yikes.
When they started 0-5 in 2010, 0-5 in 2010, he texted Adam Schefter, I guarantee we win the West and make the playoffs. They fired Singletary before week 17 that year. By the way, Tom Sula was your interim coach who won the final game of that year.
He did.
So before we even get to like yesterday and over the weekend and all that stuff, this guy took one of the most glamour franchises and people just thought that he was an imposter pretending to be, I'm just calling it what it is, pretending to like live off the success of the 80s that he had nothing to do with. And I understand it's his family, but that would be like my nephew trying to take success from my radio career.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like
doesn't make
Yeah, like he could be a fan of my work and I could, tutor him and try to get him to, but like you can't, you have to do your own thing. You have to carve your own path.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of imposter syndrome stuff going on here when it comes to Jed and how he has treated the fan base, how he has treated his uncle's success, and how he's tried to link the two. And then we get to the stadium. Whether you think it should be in downtown San Francisco on the outskirts of San Francisco, in San Mateo, in Marin County, in the East Bay. It doesn't matter. We all acknowledge it's one of the worst stadiums in the NFL for a new stadium. It's inarguable.
You don't even have to get to the stadium first. Just go to the location. The location is just in an era where you go to a stadium, there's things to do around it. I'm not going to Great America before the game. And I love Great America. Top Gun, my favorite ride maybe ever. Like, that's the only thing that's there, and you're not, it's closed. Like, what are you doing?
Joe, we're giving this guy, for the last decades, we've been giving this guy cartwheels and back slaps like, that a boy.
Yeah.
Shut up and get out of the way. Well, no, that's literally what we've been saying.
That's exactly. No.
Shut up and get out of the way.
When we give credit to the 49ers organization, we give credit saying, hey, Jed, good job staying out of the way. Good job not saying anything. Good job
giving your franchise to Kyle Shanahan.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
After you made bonehead decisions to side with Trent Baalke over Jim Harbaugh.
He lucked out, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. And he was right that day when he hired John Lynch with Kyle Shanahan. By the way, you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM and HD1 San Francisco, an Odyssey Sports Station to the home of the Golden State Warriors and Valkyries. Always live in the free Odyssey app, coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Brian Baldinger going to be joining us in about 25 minutes, as he does each and every Tuesday, Baldy Breakdowns.
Now, look, I'm not even getting into this weekend. I haven't even gotten there.
No.
I'm just telling you, like, how this guy was viewed. So I heard a lot of people talk on the radio, and I heard a lot of people put out videos and everything. And I'm just telling you, like, for a segment of Niner fans, they were already out on Jed, and this weekend cemented it. And this is just my opinion. I'm not saying they're going to force him to sell. I'm not saying he's going to be gone for 2 or 3 or 4 years and then he'll slowly work his way back in like a Larry Bear. I'm just telling you, for me and a lot of people that I know, we've already been out on Jed, and all this did was like the cherry on the top of the poop cake.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
The NFL released a statement on the arrest of San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York. Quote, "We are aware of the matter, which will be reviewed under the personal conduct policy." NFL Communications' Brian McCarthy wrote on behalf of the league. And the 49ers also issued a statement yesterday, quote, "As this is a legal matter which has been resolved, we will not be providing any further comment at this time."
Now, look, there's going to be a lot of people like, oh, yeah, this weekend it doesn't mean anything, and blah, blah, blah. I just want you guys to do this. Phone rings.
Oh, it means something.
Just hear me out. Phone rings. Hey, what's up? Hey, your brother, what happened? Got caught in a mobile home soliciting a
prostitution ring, yeah.
And he just had to plead guilty, like, oh, my God. Like, is it the end of the world? No.
Like, no. Yeah.
But the headline, if your mom called you and said that your brother just had this happen, if, heaven forbid this happened to your son, heaven forbid this happened to somebody or to yourself, and you had to make the shameful phone call to everyone involved, that's the personal side.
Yeah.
Now, think about the professional side. What if this happened to your boss? Here, let's just hypothetically.
Who brought this up yesterday?
Someone of standing here at 95.7 The Game.
I mean, first off,
he'd probably be on a leave of absence.
He would be. I'd probably check in because I'm like, you have a relationship. You check in with that individual. Is it going to affect like my show and our show on a day? No, it's not.
No, Brock Purdy's not going to drop back. Like, oh my God, Jed got arrested.
Are we going to be asked about it? Are people going to reach out to us to discuss it? Nonstop.
But
yes.
Joe, there are some things that you just can't get caught doing.
No, this is one of them. This is one of them.
This is one of them.
It's bad luck.
It's unbecoming of someone of his stature in the NFL. And I would just say, the guy's got a laundry list of black eyes on his resume. This photo will live on for the remainder of his tenure as the head of the 49ers. And I'm telling you, for a bulk of the fan base, he'll never be able to shake it. I'm not saying he's going to have to be forced to do anything. I'm telling you, the public perception and the memes will live on in perpetuity.
Has your perception of Jed York changed in such a way that you could never look at him the same again? I think for most people, the answer is yes. If it's not, and this isn't...
I think everyone's got their own morality code.
No, for sure. And this isn't also saying like we're the authority on no. I'm saying like we're not the authority in all this stuff. No one is.
No, you have to make up your own individual mind.
This is what I also get like upset, like when people bring up the morality clause when it comes like the steroid era, when it comes like voting for the Hall of Fame. I was like, who is Tom Verducci of all people to pass judgment on morality? Who are you?
Hey, look.
You're not God. You're not like
Joe,
what are you?
Joe, the more details that come out in this, though, I'm being real here for a second.
Oh, it gets worse.
No.
It's gotten worse.
You know what I was thinking? No, just me. Like, I hate to do this, but like, if this was like my brother, or whatever, I'd be like, hey, dude, you could have got robbed.
Oh, it's scary.
You could have got killed. And you watch all these docs and all these movies and all these things on Netflix. 9 o'clock in the morning?
Oh.
What's going on in your life? I'm just saying, like, if this were a brother, a cousin, my son or something of one day, I would be like, what? You're down so bad. You're in a mobile home?
Where your mind
at 9
goes
in the morning?
Where your mind goes is like, first off, is this the first time you think of all the factors?
I didn't even get to the, is it the first? I didn't even think of that.
No. But you start like, this is what you start thinking about. All right, 9 in the morning, where he's at, sketchy area.
Going on?
What are you doing? Like, you start going through this thing. It's like, okay, like I'm concerned about him. Like, no, like you get concerned. Like, if this is a family member, a friend, like, hey, dude, are you okay? Like, there's a pattern here maybe, and I'm concerned about like how you are. That's why you reach out. That's why you make sure they're okay. And maybe this is what he does. Maybe they release a statement. Maybe he releases a statement saying, hey, like you go out and you own it, right? Because this is in today's society. If you just own it, that would be a first step, and a lot of people
Contrition goes a long way.
It does.
In almost any act.
I have a problem. I'm going to try to, do whatever therapy, go through every like chapters I need to take and steps I need to take to better myself. And you go from there. Maybe that's what he does. Maybe he released a statement and said, I'm going to step away from the team for an undisclosed amount of time. And he doesn't even go into details about that. I have no idea what the next step is, but he does need to make a statement at some point. What the 49ers put out yesterday saying, as this is a legal matter, which has been resolved, we will not be providing any further comment at this time. That's not going to cut it.
Well, he's the boss. I mean, he's the one that would be putting out a statement.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who was that from?
No, I think yesterday. Well, this goes back to John Lynch. Thank God you have John Lynch.
Yes.
Thank God you have John Lynch. Because John Lynch, I'm sure, will have to answer some questions that he doesn't have answers to, which sucks. Look, I'm telling you, dude, in the court of a lot of Niner fans, this dude is cooked.